Doesn't matter what I say. Doesn't matter what I do. You guys are still gonna freaking talk about Morales. You know who you are. This was your fault, Andrew. You did this to us. This is you, not me. So definitely a funny what-if scenario. This one is more geared towards the end of The Walking Dead Season 6. Spoiler warning if you guys don't want to know anything about some of the characters that could be coming up in the future for the show. So, great comment from him, Trev. What if Morales is Negan? Plot twist. And like I said, 29 people thumbed it up pretty much right away. So this one's for Andrew and his great comment and people liking it. I want to give my thoughts on it. So this is a weird one. Here's what I'm going to say. I don't think we're ever going to see Morales again in the show. I really don't. He's like the only character left, similarly like with Merle or Morgan, that left in the show and then kind of came back later on. He's the only one left that left at some point that was part of the survivors, and we either haven't seen killed or, nothing has happened to him. Now, in Season 5, if you guys remember, the actor had posted a picture that said not dead on his Twitter and it kind of got some press and things like that, and, I covered it for you guys, and we talked about it and that kind of thing. And at this point in time, I would say in probability, we'll probably never see the character again. I would still be open for them to bring him back, but unless we get something new, it's probably never going to happen, and, he's just going to be one of those characters that was lost along the way. I mean, they could use him in a future season, but I think it's so far past now that, it would just be, I just don't think that they're going to bring him back or we're going to see that. So, but the question remains, what if he ended up to be Negan? How could it work? So he leaves, of course, this is a character, those of you who don't remember, from the very beginning of The Walking Dead, episode 2 in Guts. He leaves with his family because he feels like Shane and Rick are, they're taking too many chances, and he wants to protect his family himself. So he leaves the main group off to try to protect his family with hardly any ammunition, hardly any supplies, one car, and, that's the last we see of him. So can you imagine if, now how could this happen? How could he develop into a character like Negan? If they killed off, or if zombies killed his entire family, or another surviving group, that'd be even worse. If another surviving group wiped out his whole family, including, everyone, and left him alive, or he ended up surviving, he could be much different from what he was earlier on in the show. And he was a pretty strong survivor earlier on. He's fighting zombies and doing stuff like that. He's helping Rick. And he was a strong member of the group, one of the stronger ones earlier on. So if he was to survive the last, 2 years zombie apocalypse time, I could see if he lost his whole family, him being an entirely different person. Because without that, you would be a different person if you lost your whole family. The only part that I could see having trouble with, with that would be the comedy part, because he never, if you lose your whole family in that, unless he goes kind of mad, unless he goes kind of nutty, which could be funny, that would make sense if you saw something like that. But it would have to be an absolutely catastrophic. This is zombie apocalypse. Catastrophic stuff happens all the time to him in order to twist him and change him to become a character like Negan, and also he would have to build up a huge group and become pretty badass and either kill a previous leader of the Saviors or something, or start the group up himself after meeting others, possibly. So, man, I mean, that would just be so weird, but it would be, in some ways, it would be cool, because it would tie it back to the very beginning of the show. It would be a character who we know already, and be interesting. But they could use him for other things, too, in the future, if they want to use him for a filler season or something. I just don't think they ever will. So, great comment from Andrew. Wanted to give my thoughts on that. Weird, it would be really odd, but maybe it actually could work out pretty cool. It could be actually a good idea, because it ties back in. But that said, I mean, maybe they'd be better off if they're going to use him, using him as a brand new character, either maybe part of the Saviors or part of another group, his own group or something, and could be a villain in that capacity. That would be pretty interesting. So, great comment from him. Next one's from TheSci Bro, and he says, why would they mislead us in the tension between Morgan and Rick in the Season 6 trailer? Great channel, by the way. Keep up the great work. Thanks, man. So that's true. They did that in Season 5, too, with Gareth, him saying that they were going to go to Washington together, and they actually filmed that, had him voice record that, when it wasn't in the show at all. It wasn't even close. It was like the opposite of what was actually going to happen to mislead us so that when Bob brings it up, it sounds like, oh, okay, maybe he's going to go along with it. That's how they're going to get out. And that's just not at all what happens. So they do it to mislead us, to keep us on our toes because they know we're doing predictions and we're excited to see what's going to happen next, who will be killed off next. And they do it to bring us to a different direction so that it's harder to predict what's going to happen. But that said, it has been a little surprising to me because it's been even less than I thought it was going to be. I thought there was going to be some of that theme, and then they're just kind of blowing it up even more in the trailer. But there was going to be some there. So far, Morgan and Rick are getting along perfectly, and we haven't seen hardly anything. I mean, maybe like a little bit with Morgan after he helps out, Carter and the others when, talking about taking chances and that, because we know how he feels all life is precious and that, and, rightfully so. So we could see some of that coming up, but so far we haven't seen a whole lot of it. And I don't think we're going to get to the point where Morgan tries to kick Rick out. I at this point in time, I can't see it unless, I'm missing, and it's going to just totally come about out of nowhere kind of thing. So, but they do it to kind of keep the suspense, keep us not really knowing. Even though they're giving us something, they're kind of using it as something else to kind of, have us question, right? So, but we analyze it and we figure it out anyway. And that'll be the same thing next year. They'll probably do it again, and I'll probably do a video again, breaking it down, and we'll talk about it. We'll figure it out. We're big enough zombie geeks that we'll figure it out. So I know I am. And of course, I can always reference you guys if I miss something. You guys will let me know. Next one's from Imran Wood, and here she says, "Hey Trev, some questions for your next Q&A. Do you think Ron would have to die for Rick to get with Jessie? I think Carl will kill Ron." He puts that in brackets. "If you could bring back one character, who would it be and why? Bob for him. For me, it'd be Shane or Merle. They're both really cool. Governor's cool too. Lots of options there. That would be really fun if we could have somebody survive on. Probably Shane being my number one. Let's see. Some West for Q&A. Do you think Ron would have to die for Rick to get with Jessie? It's quite a bit different from the comic book series version, because in the comic book series version they do get together, but in the TV series they have not yet. And it seemed like from the premiere that they haven't even really been talking or close or almost anything. Like there's been no interaction basically. And if Jessie is killed off soon, like in the next half season or something, it'll be, that's a tough question of if we'll even see them in some kind of concrete relationship or being intimate with one another because of how Ron is feeling right now. Ron is definitely blocking Rick, that's for sure. He doesn't like him, so maybe we could see in the TV series version the two of them not have a relationship, which would be weird too. But yeah, I do think it's quite a bit different from the comic book series version, and we'll see what happens with Ron if he doesn't get himself killed pretty soon. So interesting stuff, great question, and I do like your idea that maybe Carl will kill Ron. We'll see if Ron attempts something against Rick or the others. I would not be surprised if he did very soon, especially based on how depressed he is in the premiere and stuff. I don't know, that look he gives very it's a weird look. Next one's from Wild Willie, and he says, "Hey Trev, nice name, man. How are you? Q&A question. Do you think that Rick is the new governor, and is Alexandria the new Woodbury? Love to get your opinion on this, and thank you if you use this in a Q&A. Well, I did. There you go. The new governor. In season 4 in the finale A, in the train cart, there's a part where he says they're screwing with the wrong people, and it's like his eye gets blacked out almost, like he's wearing a patch on one eye, which is cool. It's like very governor-esque. But I think he's about halfway, because even though he does take over Alexandria from Deanna, basically he's already doing that now. And he kind of started some of that, but it's not like he's going to killing Deanna or killing Reg or killing some of the others to take it from them. The governor is somebody who would actually do that. He would actually kill Martinez or kill whoever he needs to in order to take control. So Rick isn't quite there, but I'd say he's about halfway to governor. He could probably never go full governor. He doesn't kill Carter, for example, and the governor would have killed Carter for sure, I would say, even just to show his power probably in front of the others. Yeah, he probably would have. Next one's from Jordan Arias, and he says, "Hey Trev, Love all your videos. In the season 6 trailer, we see Rick running back on the road. Beginning of the video, do you think he's running back to Alexandria because of the herd? Yeah, I would think so. It seems that way. Or because of the horn. He's trying to stop the damn horn. He's trying to outrun them to get there first because he needs to. Next one's, this will be the last one. This is from Grace Wasinski. And she says, Trev, I have a question, comment. Do you realize it's only been about a month and a half since Too Far Gone when the governor invades the prison in the first episode of season 6 time? So I'm only a month and a half from Too Far Gone until now. That's pretty nuts, right? Okay, then she goes on, it's crazy to think it's been only a season and a half. I thought it wasn't that long of time, so I looked up the timeline online, and it says only 40 days. I think they really need to do a time skip soon, considering Chandler Riggs is just going to keep looking older and older. The timeline says it hasn't even been 2 years, but it's so unbelievable with the way Chandler looks. They have to do a time skip soon. Well, yeah, I hear exactly what you're saying. And to me, my timeline is a little bit different. I could do my own timeline video again, maybe during the break, during the winter or next summer or something. He looks, it doesn't visually match with the time frame. Obviously, if you look at Chandler Riggs in season 1 until now, he's like, he's like 4 times bigger than he was originally. So it's pretty funny to see that. But also the character's wearing, more heavy clothing at the end of the seasons because the winter, of course, is coming in that, and the temperature's changing. The even the forest and stuff looks different at the end of the season than it does at the beginning. So it looks like they're getting close to a winter, kind of almost each season, depending on how they film it. It's not going to be perfect. There's other little mistakes people point out over the years, like a car that shouldn't have been released that's in it, or something like that, like a newer car that would not have been released in their world. Just different stuff like that. To me, I hear what you're saying. I don't know if that's 100% official. They go by what is said by the directors and the people involved. So, that's kind of like the general consensus, I suppose. To me, I tend to think it's been a little bit longer because I account for kind of changes in look too. But it's not going to work out perfect. It's not a real world. It's a fictional world. So, it's not going to work out absolutely perfect either way. But let me know what you guys think about that, and for you, maybe you could do your time range below. I could do one that would, compare season to season, because I've done that in the past before. In the future, maybe I will do that again. But yeah, that is weird. It's only been like 40 days, even though for us it's been like 2 years since the episode aired, pretty much, almost there. So, let me know what you guys think about the concept of Morales turning out to be Negan. It'd be crazy. Write your comments below, guys. If you like the video, please help support me, help support the channel by liking the video, thumbing it up below. I do appreciate it. If you want to share, if you want to favorite, it also helps. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, you want to join all the rest of us and join in the discussion, go ahead and subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this video, guys. We'll see you tonight for the review and predictions. Always is Trev. I'm saying peace.
Yeah.